Hi there, my name is Harjo. I'm the articling student at ELA Alliance here, and today I'll be talking to you guys about child support and retroactive child support, but particularly retroactive child support and how it's determined by the courts. Now, I would also like to emphasize that every case is different, so your case might be different. You might have elements to your case that might strengthen or weaken your case, so I would suggest that you get specific legal advice from a lawyer that would be more relevant to your particular case. So this is just a brief summary or an overview of what child support usually looks like or how retroactive child support is determined in court. To begin, let's start talking about child support. What is child support? Child support is a monthly amount that a parent pays to the primary parent of their children. So the children will reside with one parent more than 50% of the time, and then visit or reside with the other parent on occasion as ordered by a court order. In that case, the parent that has the children the less amount of time owes the primary parent child support based on their line 150 income from the previous year. And the best way to determine how much you might approximately have to pay in child support is by Googling Child Support Calculator Canada in Google, and it's a federal website that has the calculator. You input your income, the number of children you have, and what province you live in. It'll give you the amount that you would owe every month in child support, and that's typically a pretty accurate idea of what the court would order as well if it would go to court. Now, what happens if, let's for example say that this person watching the video is a mother of 3 children and the father has weekend access to the children and is paying child support or has not been paying child support. Let's specifically say that because we're dealing with retroactive child support. So you have the children primarily, the father has not been paying child support, he visits the children every weekend. Now it's been 3 years since you've separated, you haven't been getting any child support. What do you do? How is retroactive child support determined? Retroactive child support is determined by 4 factors as defined in a landmark Supreme Court of Canada case, DBS versus SRG. Now, like I said, every case will be different, but let me just give you a brief overview how this would work. Factor number 1 refers to why support was not recalculated or sought earlier to prevent retroactive child support. So to summarize or to dumb it down a little bit, it just means that why wasn't this brought to court earlier? Why did you wait 3 years to bring this matter to court, or 8 months, or however long you waited to bring it to court? There's various reasons as to why a recipient parent doesn't bring an action to court though, so it's not necessarily a significant factor for determining owed retroactive child support. There's actually recent case law that has specifically stated that the delay in bringing an action to court does not actually play a very significant role in determining retroactive child support. So it's not a huge factor, but it is one of the factors that courts will look at. But like I said, it's not a huge deal because, like I said, there's various reasons as to why a recipient parent may not bring an action to court earlier, such as financial hardship. They're not able to pay for counsel to bring the action to court, or even intimidation from the paying parent. Maybe they're too scared to bring an action to court against them. The second factor is blameworthy conduct of the payer parent, specifically any acts that prioritize the interests of the parent over the interests of the children, such as failing to provide annual financial disclosure. What is annual financial disclosure? When you are required to pay child support, you are required to also provide your annual financial disclosure, so your tax documents every single year to the other parent on a specified date. If you fail to do that, it's difficult to calculate child support as it should be based on your new income, whether it needs to be reduced or increased. Factor number 2, blameworthy conduct, is one of those. When you fail to provide annual financial disclosure, it results in retroactive child support potentially being owed. Second factor is the circumstances of the children and how the lack of support has impacted the children. It's emphasized, though, in case law that the right of the child to get adequate support overrides any agreements that the parents might have about child support. So whether or not you two have decided that I only need $500 this month, but he's actually supposed to pay you $700 a month, that agreement will not override the interests of the children. So the fact that the children may have needed the adequate support or the adequate child support amount as ordered is more important or significant than your agreement with the other parent. Another important thing is that circumstances or financial proof that the children need the retroactive child support is not actually a requirement. You don't need to prove need on the behalf of the children, because child support is the right of the child. They are required, or not required, but they're entitled to child support regardless of whether they need it or not. So that retroactive child support is owed whether you can prove financial need on the behalf of the children or not. Of course, let's say that you're unable to pay for basic expenses of the children because you weren't getting child support, and because of this retroactive child support that's owed, that will strengthen your case, which is why this is a factor. But if you don't have that, if you don't have incidents or evidence to prove that the children needed this retroactive child support, that doesn't weaken your case either. It's not a significant factor in the sense that you don't need to prove need. It is a requirement that child support be paid. The final factor that courts look at is whether any hardship will exist if the retroactive child support is awarded. However, hardship on the behalf of the payer parent needs to be proved in evidence. It's not enough for the payer parent just to say, I can't afford this, I can't pay this. They have to prove it with evidence, and the burden of proof is on them to prove that. The paying parent needs to provide evidence that they're unable to pay this amount of retroactive child support that they owe currently. The recipient parent, which is you, who hasn't received any child support, you don't really need to prove that they have the ability to pay it. They need to prove that they don't have the ability to pay it. So that's a typical way of how courts will look at when they're determining whether retroactive child support is owed or not. Those are the 4 factors that they look at, but of course every case is different. Your case may be different, your factors and your situations might be different, so you need to get specific legal advice for your matter in order to see what's the best method or approach to address your issue in court. Our firm deals with family law, so we do child support matters, retroactive and ongoing. If you would like a consultation with one of our lawyers, we offer free 1-hour consultations, which do get booked up. So we suggest giving us a call as soon as possible to book your free 1-hour consultation. If we don't have any available free 1-hour consultations, we also do paid consultations, and we'd be able to give you a quote on what that would look like as well. If you have any questions, feel free to leave us a comment, or you can find us on Instagram, ELAW Alliance. You can find us on TikTok as well, or you can just give us a call at our office at 780-665-4955. Thank you for joining, guys. I hope this was helpful. Bye.